Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Say More podcast. I have my
Hello.
bestie with me.
Hi, hi. How are you?
I'm good, baby. I'm good. Happy episode 13.
I
I'm
know,
so
I was
glad we have
thinking,
it written down over here, like at the top of the recording. You guys
yeah,
don't see it, but we have like episode 13 right there. Thankfully so, because I would lost count
that's what
completely.
I mean. I mean, it's only 13 episodes in, and I would have been like, what episode are we now? Like, what are we doing again?
Yeah, but we are here and bringing you guys another episode.
Hmm.
Phoebe has done her homeworks and put little box. Thank you, Phoebe, for keeping this podcast alive. Putting the little box into our Instagram. And Phoebe, what was it? It was
So
about
we're
quote.
gonna, I mean, we're just gonna kind of like, I wanted it to be kind of like positive, and like kind of go through like little quotations or what are your favorite quotes of like either like the week. Like I asked you what your favorite like quotes were of like last week, or like any quotes that you'd heard that kind of resonated with you that week, or just in general. And the people came up with some really really cool like nice answers, which is nice, and I thought that would be just like a little positive little spin to kind of do for today's episode. But it's funny because Lauralie has something she wanted to tell me that something weird that happened to her at the mall or something like that. And I was like, tell me. And she was like, oh, I'll wait for the podcast. So I was like, okay. I was like, what happened to you? She was like, no, it's not bad or anything. It's fine. So I'm really interested to hear what the hell happened.
I feel like I've built up so much
Okay.
suspense and like
Well,
I'm
we
so
always do
dramatic
that.
about it.
We
Phoebe,
always
listen.
do that. We're so dramatic with both of us. We're both dramatic and I love it.
And that's what I told you before the podcast. Like it's probably just an event that happens to probably a lot of people, but because I'm gym and home, back and forth. If I go to grocery store, like the biggest event that can happen in my life are like social interactions or like at the grocery store or at this time was at the mall. So long story short, I'm at the mall, Aventura Mall in Florida. I don't have you been to the mall with me there? No. We didn't do
Well, we
shopping.
went to Remember when I came to surprise you, and we went to Target, and I got those flared blue trousers. Do you
Oh my
remember?
God, yeah. Those trousers are amazing.
I wish
But
you got a
okay,
pair because we could match that. Though I wear them all the time.
they were so good. I went back like a couple weeks after to see if they were still there, but they weren't. So
Oh, damn it.
so sad story. But there's a mall like not so long, like not far after, and it's like a big mall.
Mm,
It's a pretty like bougie mall.
okay.
You would go there and people are like dressed up to go to the mall.
Is
It's
it like where
actually
like all the designer stuff is? Is there like
yeah,
designer shops? Yeah.
like yeah, it's very bougie. I mean, you live in Dubai, so it's probably like casual for you, but like it's very bougie, like for me at least. And when I go to the mall, normally like you want to try on clothes, so it's not. I don't wear like my jeans. Like I wear just joggers with like a t-shirt.
Mm.
So that's right. So I go there and I'm by myself, walking along the mall, just like strolling on like a Saturday, very easy. And then I'm upstairs about to kind of leave, and this man comes to me and he's like, "Hey, can I ask you a question real quick?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah, what's up?" And then he shows me like a phone and he's like, I'm heartbroken. I left the woman of my life, 2 weeks ago because I needed to focus on my business
Mm.
and I had to start like a whole kind of like story. But while he tells this story, I'm like, okay, let me analyze this. I'm alone in the mall. This man comes to me. He has two phones. So there's two things happening right now in my head.
Yeah.
Either there's like a TikTok, I'm recorded. There's like
Oh
something,
yeah.
or it's like a whole, I mean, child trafficking situation because like it's really wild right now. Like it's
Yeah.
like alerts are everywhere and I don't watch the news or anything like that, but it's very present and like from what I see
Yeah.
from TikTok, they all have like different tactic of like baits and stuff. So I'm like my heart starts racing. I'm like, what's going
Oh,
on? And the Canadian
no.
in me is like, Lauralie, just calm down. Like this is just like
Yeah.
a human interaction. Like
It's
this poor
normal.
man
It's fine.
has his heart broken and he comes to you like maybe it's like it's you're just meant to be there like for this
Yeah.
man at this time, but I have this thing going, my heart is racing, I'm trying to calm down, trying to show the man that I'm not stressing out. I'm like, okay, I don't know how I can help you on that subject, first of all. Like,
Wait, what was he trying to ask? Like, what he said, so he was heartbroken, but then what
yeah,
was
he
he
told me
asking
the
you
whole story
about?
about the broken heart. Like, he moved, he was in New York. His girl moved to Florida in Tampa. Now he's in Miami because he flew to Miami and tried to like regain her. He's like, listen,
Yeah.
I'm just curious because, women like you that have a lot of options, like they would
Excuse me.
know. I'm like,
Women's
they
like
would know.
you don't even know me.
Like they would know what to say in that situation. Like, what am I
Okay.
supposed to do? Like, should I just go there? What do I have to tell her? I'm like, okay, I don't know how I can help you with that, but I think this is very like romantic in a way. Like, I
Mm.
think, like some girls would love the romantic part. Or
Yeah.
what did she told you when she left? Like, did she wanted her space? Like, if you're right now like not and like acknowledging the fact that she wants her space, she's like, yeah, she told me that. I'm like, so what are you doing? You
Yeah,
psycho?
like then why are you here?
Yeah, you need to give her her space. And after everything is like cooled down, he's like, yeah, but the other person that I asked that, they told me that I could gain her if I send her that text. And he has two phones in his hand. I'm like, what's going on? So
What's
he
going
showed me the
on?
text, and I'm like, but like, did you apologize to her? Like, about, the
Like
fact that you
leaving?
were not like, acknowledging her feelings and stuff. He's like, no. I'm like, well, that's your big man, that's your first step, and
Yeah.
that conversation went for like 5 minutes, but every time I'm just like, I don't like I can't be the one that helps you with that. Like, I don't think I'm the right person for you. And like, I feel like I have your relationship on my hand. So anyway, fast forward to that conversation. I'm like, what would like, what should I, like, I don't understand. So I'm like trying to like look around, like see if there's someone like looking at this whole interaction like happening. And we're just
Yeah.
like stuck into that place. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I wish you good luck. I think it's amazing that you love someone. And I, like, but I gotta go. And
Yeah.
he started walking with me, and he's like, no, but you just like, please, like, help me out. I'm like, I really want to
Mm.
help you, but I can't tell you more than just apologizing to her. So he's like, okay, help me like write the text. And he keeps walking, and we're walking together. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with what's happening right
Yeah,
now. Like,
now that's like not harassment, but it is also like you said no, like however many times, like I can't help you. And you're like putting your I need to help you, like you can help me. No, I can't. Like I've said no. Respect that no. Like that's
like
that's
we're going out the,
wild.
like down the escalator right now, and I'm like keeping my distance. I'm like, okay, say this. I am sorry that acknowledge the situation that you guys have broke up for, and just leave it at that. But don't send it now. Send it
Yeah,
when
you're
like
like, don't send it
I
now.
don't want
Don't send it with
responsibility.
me.
I don't want responsibility in your relationship. Like, I'm not relationship advisor. He's like, you're not a therapist. I'm like, no.
What even gave you like the intent? Like you're like, girl,
How did you
thank you.
analyze? I
Like
know. How did you analyze this? Like, are you like, is it a thing now that like you're stepping on 50%
great
therapy, 50%?
compliment, great compliment. Thank you so much, but no, I'm definitely not. That's crazy though.
I
Like, what
know.
makes
So
you look like a therapist? That's so strange.
girl, I don't know. It was just a mix of like, I don't know if this guy, I feel like this guy was really like heartbroken. Like, there was really
Yeah.
something happening, and he was just kind of like desperate, I think.
Mm.
But there has to be something else. Like, I cannot, like, in today's day and age, I cannot be like, this is just a motive. Like, it's so sad,
Yeah.
and it makes me reflect on like what just happened now. Like, it was like a normal, technically like a normal human interaction, but not like,
Yeah.
I'm probably like on a TikTok somewhere. Like, there has to be, there was a
Well,
TikTok
that's
somewhere. Like, the other phone was like recording. There's something going on. Like,
that's the sad thing that in our world now that's literally what you thought. Like instead of just like obviously thought obviously stranger danger all that type of thing start off with, but also at the same time you're like I don't want to be recorded because you see that everywhere, like all over Instagram, YouTube, like whatever, like people secretly filming and this that the other, and like you're like I don't want to be part of like whatever this is if it's like a prank or whatnot. So like, but that's sad that our heads go to that. It's not like immediately, oh, I'm gonna like, obviously you went to, I'm gonna help you out, but you're also thinking in the back of your mind, like, oh God, I hope he's not doing something like stupid or like filming me or something like that. Cause that's what we like, that's what it is around I like these days. I mean, I would have pretty much done what you did, if I'm honest, because you asked me like, what would you have done? And I would have done the exact same. Like, I think at the beginning it was giving like, okay, I'm gonna try and help you out. This is a bit strange, but I'll like, it's like a good deed. But then it got very creepy at the end, like him like following you and like almost forcing you to help him. And it's like, no, that's a line that's been crossed now. Like you haven't gained my respect or gained my trust now. I'm like, I want to go now. Bye.
Yeah, and
Type
they like
thing.
I was trying to ask like, have him like repeat his story to just see like if his story was like lining up with what he was telling me with like the
Yeah.
New York thing and like Miami and Tampa. I'm like, but did you move here? He's like, yeah, I just bought a house here. And I'm like, but you told me you were just flying from New like I'm confused now. So
Yeah.
it's funny. Like I think that's like probably what threw him off because I was like trying to understand
What the hell was going
like what he
on?
was so weird. I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. Like I said,
That's
I'm
so
probably on the TikTok somewhere.
strange.
It has to be that.
Oh,
Um,
that would be so funny if he actually finds this podcast and he was the opening to our podcast. Imagine
I
he's
mean, I
driving
hope he
along.
found, I hope he
Driving
found this
along.
girl and a way back to her heart, and
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I
they're
think,
happy together.
yeah, I think in that situation you would want to do as much as you can, like you did. You were like, I was trying to focus on not like being like, oh my God, what the hell is going on, but also trying to like figure it out. But the situation was just confusing, and also it was just a very weird setting from what it sounds like. So it's kind of like it doesn't give you much trust or much direction in trying to help. Like, what are you gonna say? You don't know both people either, so how can you actually give like valid advice anyway?
Right.
So
He showed me the text that she sent to him.
God. You're probably invested in this. Fuck.
Like
Shit.
I just wanted to go to the mall, like have some like cargo pants. Like I was just looking for cargo pants.
I just want to get some cargo pants, man. That's all I wanted. Fuck.
But I was like, okay, listen, like these things happen. It's okay. It's social interactions. Like I don't have a lot of these nowadays. So like,
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's dive
Yeah.
in.
Let's
It's like
dive in.
I
Let's
mean,
dive right in.
people do that in a bar, like being drunk. So I'm like, what's the difference in being like
Yeah.
not
It's
in a
very true.
in like in a mall, whatever.
Yeah.
This poor man like just missing his girlfriend doesn't know what to do. So anyway, he showed me the text from the girl. The girl was like, you're a very kind man. I just don't think that we should be together. Like I've not been their priority for a while, and it's okay for you to prioritize your business, but I'm out to like better things. Like I want to like
Yeah.
do out to better things. I'm like, this is actually like a very like mature message, and you're over here like trying to force yourself on her. Like I think you should
Yeah.
first of all apologize and acknowledge how she's feeling. He's like, oh yeah, like acknowledge how she's feeling. She's like,
Oh God.
yeah. So it was nonetheless
Interesting.
interesting, and I wanted to share
Mm.
that with you because I was like, what would have Phoebe done? Like, what would your mind like go? Like, my mind was running like 1,000 miles an hour, and I was just like, like I was like, okay, keep your composure. Just answer his question. Just answer his question, Lauralie. You don't need to like freak out.
Yeah. Because
And then I'm like, am I
I
being
get freaked
so
out.
Canadian right now? Like, am I being so naive? Like, because Canadian have like a tendency of like being naive more so.
British are the exact same. British and Canadians are more like than you think. We're both very naive. Like it's so silly. Well, I am anyway. But like I'm very much the exact same. So I feel like we would have, from what it sounds like, we would have responded the exact same way. If I'm honest, like yeah,
Interesting times to be alive, to say the least. I don't know. I haven't been to the mall since then.
I haven't been back since. It scared me. Not doing it again. Not doing it again. But apart from that, how was your week last week and stuff anyway? Like what how was like training and stuff like that? How's that all been going?
It's good. I'm old, Phoebe. I'm definitely old.
Oh my God, don't. There was someone, I don't know if whoever, I can't remember who commented, someone commented on our YouTube. And because we were saying about us being old in our last episode.
Oops.
And she said, she said, I think she said something like, shut up, don't stop calling you guys old. Me at 41 on the Stairmaster or something like that, listening to you guys talk about how old you are. And I was like, okay, never
Honestly, it's
mind.
not an age, it's not a
It's a
number.
feeling.
It's a feeling. Like it's how
Yeah.
much we beat our body for so long. And I promise you, if I had like a body scan and telling me like how age is your body, I probably like a 61 and over. Like that's how I'm feeling right now. I mean, I told you when I woke up today, I was like, Phoebe, I just need this to sleep. Like
Yeah.
I just need to sleep because
We were supposed to
I
be
forced
recording at
I forced
9
myself
a.m.
out. I normally force myself out of bed because like first of all, like getting my day going, like I just
Yeah.
feel more productive in the morning and all these things. But I was like, listen, if I want to have like good workouts this week, like I just need the sleep is so underrated and I cannot force that enough. I don't know how I've done in my younger age where I was like sleeping 2 hours a night and just
I
like go about the
know.
day and just I could do that 4 to 5 times a week. No problemos. Um Now it's a long time. So I'm glad I hustled, but with the time that I had all the energy and I was fearless and all these things because right now I
Mm.
could not do the
I could
same
not
thing at
do that.
all.
I
And
cannot.
I have faced that this week, but everything is rolling. Now I feel like
Yes.
my routine, the workouts are there. It's pretty high for me 6 times a week at the moment, to be honest. I
Yeah.
haven't done that in a while, but um it's catching up. It's
It's
um
good.
it's good though. I'm excited. What about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, things are going very well. Like things are kind of moving along nice, like in a good place right now. Like I feel like it's like each week, like the end of the week, so like Sunday gets to Sunday, I'm like, okay, let's reflect back on the week. I'm kind of like getting back into that now, like not journaling as such, but just actually just reflecting and being like, what have I done this week? Like I'll look through like my photo album sometimes and be like, what have we done this week? And like see like what photos I took. Like, did I go to the gym? Like, did I film any of my training sessions? Did I like take pictures of like when we were out with my friends, just reminiscing just generally on the week and like how it went and stuff like that. I've been doing that recently on like Sundays and stuff. And it's been a nice way to like end my week and like begin the Monday because like I go
I
to bed
love that.
feeling like satisfied in a way, like, okay, cool, this is what we've done this week. This is what we want to try and now do this week. And it just feels nice doing that. But no, I've just got into that and yeah, things are moving along nice and steady. I leave to go to the UK or I leave Dubai for the rest of the year, pretty much almost in 2 weeks, which I am stressing about because the thing is, I say I'm stressing about it because I'm going to be here, there, and everywhere, but I also thrive on that. But it's
Yeah.
also just going to be hectic. Like I've been telling you, like, however many weeks now, I'm like, I am stressed. These things are stressing me out. But once I'm in it, it's fine. I think it's more the thought of traveling, the thought of doing all the things that I'll be doing, like in these different places and stuff, that is more stressful than anything. But once I'm doing it, I'm like, this is fine. It's not that bad at all.
I think it's also the fact that you never know how you're gonna feel because prep
Yeah.
sometimes can just say like hello to you and it hits hard that week
Yeah.
and everything just feels so much more. But I think you're gonna thrive on adrenaline. It's gonna probably take, I think the first 2 weeks of the month are gonna be easy for you, and then after that it's just gonna start like, like settling. You're just gonna
Yeah.
crave to be settled, but you're such in a good place. Like I think you being ahead with like your prep and all these things are just gonna let you have those like 2 weeks of leverage, quote unquote. I'm
Yeah.
not saying leverage, but I'm just saying like, okay, if you don't have like the most craziest pump workout stuff
Yeah.
and you can give yourself some little bit of like grace, I want to say.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm
I know. Me and
excited.
Max, we just went down to the pool, and me and Max were talking about it and stuff like that. And I was like, this is so exciting. I was like, I'm so excited for the Olympia this year. I cannot wait. It's going to be so fun. Like, and I feel like it's cool because a lot of obviously, everyone's starting their preps now, obviously, because we're kind of like right in it now. And it's cool, like seeing like everyone's throwbacks or like how everyone's working, how everyone's doing things. Like I like seeing how everyone's getting on. It's cool. It's really nice and like it's just nice. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to see how everyone's getting on and all that type of thing. But yes, today's episode, we're gonna just be giving you our fave quotes. Quotations in terms of like just giving some positive energy, because I feel like I don't know, like I saw so many good like little quotes this week, and I was like, that would be cool to just do an episode on and just kind of like shine a little light on you guys listening to just give you some positive things throughout either your if you're listening to this on cardio, if you're just on a walk, if you're wherever you are right now, just a little bit of positive energy. I thought that would be quite nice. So, I mean, I have 3 I've written down, and then there's a load on Instagram. How many have you got?
I I feel like I need your algorithm, like your Instagram algorithm is just like probably very nice. My
You're like,
algorithm is a little bit
you're like,
my algorithm is a
my
little bit
quotes are
struggling.
different.
My algorithm is a little bit struggling with my research, so I will go and support whomever have given their quotes. I have a quote that I live and die by,
Okay.
especially for the sport, but just like life in general.
Yeah.
And that I've been running with it for a very long time. But yeah.
I want to hear. Okay, so what we'll do is I want you to tell me like that quote, and then I'll
Okay.
tell you one of my top 3 quotes. Just to kind of just give again a little positive energy. So why is this your fave little quote?
Okay, so my favorite quote goes like this. A champion is someone who loves the work of becoming one more than the idea of becoming one. I think I've already said it on the
Yeah,
podcast.
I love that.
Live and die by. It's in my phone since 2018, and I just think it explained everything about life in general. Be
Mm,
about it, not, be about it. Just practice what you preach. Like all these things that you just can say all day long and talk about it all day long, but if you're not about it, if you're not the proof of your work, um, it just doesn't held on to nothing. And it just also shows you that you need to pour in every day and do day by day a little bit of the champion that you're aspiring to be.
mm,
And just eat like a champion. And that could be different from everybody, right? Like if whatever goal you have, it could be as small as, you know, gaining 2 pounds of muscle or just losing two
mm,
pounds, of weight, whatever. But if you have a champion mindset and you go day by day by just doing what you need to get done in order to be the woman that you aspire to be, and that could be also psychologically, like you want to be more assertive, you want to work on your self-worthiness. Like you can talk about self-worth every day, but if on a daily basis, things like you do actions that doesn't align with the person that you aim to be at the end goal, it's gonna be tough. Like it
yeah.
just won't happen. You need to be committed to give yourself self-worth every day, like work on your self-image every day. And that can look like going to get your nails done, like watching a podcast, journaling, all these things. But if you're not consistent and committed to that every single day, and you feel like you can cheat on your journey to get close and
Mm,
would still get closer to that journey, like you're lying to yourself, because you really need that every decision are aligned with obviously your values, your morals, your principle, and that's how you're gonna get closer to your goal. You can't be like, oh, I'm just gonna cut it short today. Like I won't do anything for my self-worth. Like even worse, I'm gonna do something that makes me feel unworthy and just sad
mm,
and bad, and we're just gonna go through it and hope for the best. Like no, that's when the boundaries comes in, and to like no, like my goal is this. I want to get to the woman that I aspire to be. And that has been really helpful because I reflect on that every day. I reflect on it when I go get coffee in the morning. I'm like, when I get coffee, when I go on dates, when I go on, get dressed to go to the gym. I'm like, why would I throw? I'm like, I'm comfortable in my jogging and stuff, right? Like I'm in my joggers, I'm
mm.
wearing this, but I'm about to do legs. Like I know for a fact, like I won't be like motivated if I don't put my hair, slick back together. And I like things happen, right? Like, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain to you, like, how can I put myself in the position that, okay, the woman that I aspire to be is like put together, is, this and that. And I just want to embody that every single day. So then you get
Mm.
closer to that goal every day. I think I've said that on the podcast too before.
You have.
But I had a friend, I did, right?
Yeah, and you've also I've heard you say that on Instagram before. I've heard you say it like in just in general before. Like I've heard you say that quote just in like conversations and stuff that we've had. Like
Yeah.
I've heard you say that 100%, and I know like that's a very good quote to kind of like live by, because I feel like everyone wants to be a champion, but are they going to do champion things to get there? Do you know what I mean? Like, and at the same time, it's like, yeah, you want to be a champion, but do you want to then do like all that in between stuff is what makes you that person? You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's what you need to focus on more than actually doing, like being the whatever level it is that you want to be. So I think that's a lovely quote. I love that. It's
Yours.
good. It's good. Okay, so
Yours.
this is one that I found on Instagram on the reels. I said the reels. I don't know why I said the reels. Reels on Instagram. And it's kind of a bit of a sassy one, but I kind of was like, when I was in the mood when I saw it, I was like, I kind of like that. And Tom Holland, Spider-Man said it. So
Oh,
it's well, I mean, I don't know if he stole this from someone else, but he said it on the reel or whatever. So he said, if you have a problem with me, text me. If you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me.
love that.
I don't know why. I watched that. I listened to that like 5 times. I listened to it 5 times. And I don't know why it kind of like hit me so hard. And that was only like last week and stuff that I heard it, but I don't know. That is such a, it's not like massively powerful, like it's hugely powerful, but it's very impactful, because I feel like we get a very big like chip on our shoulders sometimes, or people can dislike people for like there's no unknown reasons. You don't know someone, you just see something that you've maybe done or heard about something they've done or something, and I don't like this person. I don't like this person. I have a problem with them for no reason. Like I see it all the time. Like, and I think it's. I've always been that type of person that I will give people a chance, like, and if they screw me over, then they screw me over, then whatever. But I always give everyone a chance, like, no matter whoever, like, someone could say something to me and then be like, "Oh, watch out," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, whatever. I'll find out myself." Like, and I have. So, but at the same time, I'd rather go out there and give a chance on people than have a problem from them from the beginning for no reason, if that makes sense. So I don't know. That kind of like hit me quite hard, because I was like, I liked that, where it kind of just says like, don't judge people before you even get to kind of know them in a way. If
Don't
that makes
like don't
sense.
just it's more so like don't judge a book by its cover,
Yeah.
but version like modern version, like
Yeah, like
generation.
modern version, sassy version. I liked that, just because I thought, in this day and age, we have a problem with everything. We complain about everything all the time for some reason. And like, I just think it needs to kind of be like less. It needs to be less. Like, we need to stop complaining about so much shit, like for no reason,
I
almost.
I think everyone is entitled to their opinion, right?
Mm,
Because free speech, like free thoughts, whatever. I just don't think opinions are valid and valuable in different contexts,
yeah.
and they shouldn't be taken most of the time. Like they shouldn't be they're not factual. Opinions are not factual.
Yeah.
So keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. Just say it. That's what I'm saying. No, I mean, like you said, everyone has free speech. Everyone can say what they want to say. Like, everyone's entitled to their own opinions and stuff. And I completely stand by that, because, there's so many, for like putting it in a bodybuilding context, for example, like there's so many ways to do prep. But like, if we only listen to like one way of doing prep, it would all kind of be like, we'd never really get anywhere. We all might never progress, because it's not all one way, like the same ways, whatever. So it's all done different ways. But I do agree with like context. Context is everything. And I feel like sometimes you don't need to be so negative or have a problem with people for no reason at all. I feel like
People
it's
that have
so.
problems with people is so weird to me. It's so weird to me
Like,
because
if you've never met them, so for example, like if you've never met them and like you just maybe know them through Instagram, or you've seen them around and okay, yes, you just don't like their vibe maybe. But when people are like, I have a problem with them, I don't like them, I'm like, but why? Like, it
even
depends. Again,
even let
context is everything,
even
but
let's say it's a
still.
vibe, right? Like let's say um with us, like we meet a lot of our people like the day before the
Mm,
show. Like
yeah.
we're trying to be 100, but like I've had like really tough guest appearance. Like, don't get me wrong, like I love guest appearances. Like the best thing because I love meeting people. But like tough ones where like I was giving my everything. Like I was hungry, tired, and all
Yeah,
these
you're
things.
like
But
2 days
and
out. Like,
and sometimes with like people would judge you by that event, but without reflecting
mm,
on like all these things. And I think I always give the benefit of the doubt. Like even if I go to a grocery store and the cashier is just not feeling my vibe, I'm like, listen, I'm here
mm,
to like give you the highs and the how are you and all these things. And if she doesn't answer back to me, I'm not taking it personally. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's probably just not having a day, you know? Like it
yeah,
happens to the best of us. Like I just
mm,
feel it so unfair that someone would judge or like throw an opinion so solid about someone that they don't know. Where first of all, they don't know. Second of all, they're not a therapist. Like you can't judge someone by just a highlight of a picture or a video or this or that. Like, and it's crazy. It's crazy because you and I, we most like we put a lot of our life on social media, and
mm.
it's really kind of like copy paste and very like genuine and stuff. And still, like people are just
People will have a problem.
opinionated or
Yeah.
on something. And I used to fight it. I think I'm sure you used to fight it back in on
Mm.
a sense too. I would be like, call me so I can explain to you the whole story.
I remember
But
you
then at the
said
end of the
that.
day, they would just be like, I just don't like you.
You're
And
like,
And I'm just like,
okay.
I feel sad for you because I don't feel like there's no place in my heart to dislike someone. There's honestly no place in my heart to like be like, I hate that person. I think someone is, depending on their action and how they like if they do me dirty on
Mm.
purpose, then
Yeah.
you're actually like an evil person. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're just an
You're
evil
just
person.
damn evil.
Period. But like, do I hate you? Do I have space in my heart to hate you? Like to like
There'll
this like
always be like a part of me that will be like there's been people that have screwed me over, don't get me wrong. There's been people that have screwed me over and pissed me off and like so many things left, right, and center. And I still have it in my heart where I'm like, I just want to be friends again, or I want to be like normal again, or do you know what I mean? Like I don't have that. I don't have the energy to want to be like, oh my god, I do not like you like at all. I'm like,
yeah, and feed into
oh, maybe
that.
we should figure it out, or oh, we should patch it up. Do you know? That's always in the back of my head. If there's
I
something
also
like that,
believe in karma very much. So, like,
yeah.
that's
Oh my
probably,
god, yeah. Same,
like you kind of
hundred
leave that
percent.
to that.
Yeah. So, okay, what was your next one? If you haven't, or if you have another one, or if you have any others.
Honey, that's it, baby.
You're like,
That's it for me.
that's my
That's it for me
best
for
one.
today.
Okay, well, I have another one. Well, where is it? Okay. So, again, this is a one that I saw kind of last week. Um, Emotions come and go, but just try and embrace them all so you can control them and not be controlled by them.
Yep.
I love that. Like I
I
saw that, and Kobe Bryant said that, and I saw it on TikTok. I feel like Instagram, TikTok, all social media platforms giving me all the best content for this podcast. But Kobe Bryant said that, and I was like, I love that because there's been so many situations, especially in prep and just in general life. Like I have been controlled by my emotions 1000%. Like I've not known what to do and I've acted on like purely on emotion versus intention or like logic at all. And it was because I was either scared or like because I was sad in that moment, that's why I acted like that, or angry because that's why I acted like that, versus actually embracing, okay, I'm feeling angry right now, but also what I need to do logically. Do you know what I mean? I just act on anger or act on sadness or act on whatever I was feeling in that moment. And there's been so many times that I've done that before, and I've looked back and I'm like, I could have probably acted a little bit better with that kind of situation. Do you know what I mean? Like, and not let it control me.
it's it's really you giving your power away, straight
Yeah.
up. And I lift my arms and I show you my tattoo because it says Amor Fati, and I'm gonna give you like I think I gave you a background a little bit of my tattoo,
Mm.
but um when I met Aldo, he had that on his arms with Marcus Achilles, and he's a stoic. And basically, amor fati is a it's Latin of love of your own fate,
Mm.
Fate. And it's basically on a daily embracing everything that happens to you, meaning happens for you. So whatever makes
Yeah.
you angry, you're in traffic, you're like, what this happened? Like to me, it happens for you. So make the best out of it. As soon as you say, what does this happen to me? You give your power away. If you say it happens for me, I'm gonna make the best out of this moment. You just put some music on. You're like, everything happens for a reason, like all these things that you tell yourself. And like you said, once you're in that power and that, okay, I'm angry, I can act so many ways right now, but this is what is gonna come out from me. You have so much power on yourself,
Mm.
girl, like it's insane. And I think we have nailed a good part of the stoicism, like being stoic with being in prep. If you don't
Mm.
use prep to numb yourself from like another misery in your life, like if you actually go into prep for the excitement because you're passionate, all these things, like you have been stoic many, many times because you're like, we can't cope with our emotion with anything, with food,
Yeah.
with like, crying, with not training, with
Mm.
we need to show up and just shutting everything down and just gathering ourselves and just do what we need to get done.
Yeah.
So that's a very powerful quote. And it's really funny because I was listening to an audiobook by Robert Kiyosaki. Very random, very like,
Mm.
and on finance. And he was talking about how to not get emotionally attached to their properties because there was a lot of investors, they buy their first property and they start getting attached and emotional about property. He's like, emotion has no place. And I know it sounds silly, but I
No,
could
it doesn't
understand like if
know.
it's like a lifetime thing, like you've gathered all your money, like this is the money that you've worked for every single day of your life. You busted your ass having the worst fucking job, and now like you have your property and like, you're about to like launch like your investment and you're about to like make money and you get either like super excited, super hyped, and you kind of lose yourself into all this excitement. If you're just emotionless about a lot of things, like a property, then you're able to make it an actual business and making it run for you. And I was like, it's the same with food. And that's when I was like, you
Mm.
need to be as happy eating chicken and broccoli than eating a good juicy piece of steak. We should not let our like serotonin be like so through the roof when I eat. I still have a free meal every week now and then, and it's good. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just like the next day I go with my ground turkey and it gives me another type of pleasure, which is like being back on a plan. It's being like accomplished and all these things.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't thrive from emotions anymore. Like, can you imagine if I was like so like oh my God, the burger, like it's I would be so like happy. Yes,
Yeah.
I don't want to be miserable when I eat my chicken because I'm not. Like it drives me closer to my goals. So I love that quote. That quote is really good. I think
I
it applies
love I
to a lot of
love the way you use that analogy with that food thing a second ago, because like there's a lot of people that are probably listening to this, obviously, that do, obviously, don't get me wrong, get huge enjoyment from food, but then when they have to go back to the boring plan, it's like, oh, this is so boring. But like if you really love like what you're doing and like you thrive off just what you're doing in general, like you don't need to have that kind of like outlet or emotion from that certain thing, that like that pizza or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, or that
yeah.
thing that's like a short-term thing in your life. Do you know what I mean? I loved that you just said that. That was really, really good analogy. Very, very good analogy.
I'm not there for the quote, but I'm there for the analogies. I got you.
Yeah, I
We
got you.
complete each other.
And then this one was from Jay Shetty, which I think he posted, which I love a good Jay Shetty, to be fair.
I love a good
Um,
chase.
he said this. He said, if if you want to change someone, ugh, if you want to change someone's values, then you don't love them. Which I kind of like. I wanted to see what you thought of this quote for some reason, in terms of like, if you want to change someone's values, then you don't love them.
Damn, I've heard a lot of Jay Shetty, but I've never heard of that one. And that cuts me off guard. I need to think
Because
about it.
that's what I mean. So I'm like, and I put it down because I actually have a question mark like next to it because I didn't know if I was going to say it or not. Because when I first like when I actually like listened to it, I was like, okay. And then I kind of like looked at comments and like saw like other people's opinions of what they thought. And there was a lot of people that were kind of saying like, I understand like people's values have to match,
For sure.
but you
1000%.
but you also then don't have to like it's I think what his point was you don't have to change someone or change someone to still love them or something like that. If that makes sense.
Yes, because what makes an essence of a human being is their values. All
Yes.
of this is
Yes.
non-existent. You are what you value and you are your values. If
Yes.
you walk and you talk and you do everything aligned with your values and you have someone that comes into your life and try to change that, you don't love them. Period.
Yes. Yes. And
Okay.
that's what I think it caught, like you said, it caught me off guard. So I, like I said, I had a question mark next to it because I was like, do I say it? Do I not? But I do like it. It kind of like intrigued me a little bit. I was like, okay, I like that because initially I think, again, this is the world we live in. Like we all have to try and like have the same values or we're trying to change like, people's opinions or people's values to match ours where we should I personally don't think we need to do that. We should obviously voice what we believe in, but then we don't have to then try and change other people's values and what they believe in, depending on what they are. There was a lot of people that are like, well, if they believe in, greed and like evil, this, that, the other. And I was like, well, obviously, like then I don't know, that's like a whole different story. But at the same time, values are values in a way. Um, but
If
yeah.
yeah, I think there's some values that can be complementary. Like let's say
Yeah.
I value family a lot and I have a partner that it's not some of their top values. There's also like priorities and values, right? So if I have like my first top value, Phoebe, and I know this because I've acted upon it, like and it's loyalty. Like
Mm.
loyalty first hand. If you cheat, I'm out. Like it's no question asked. Like it's done. I'm not even gonna try to change you. I'm not even gonna like if you're
Yeah.
disloyal, I'm out. Big no no. But yet, I value respect. I do value respect, but I value respect on others more than on myself. That makes sense? Like I would
Yeah.
be like I would
Yeah.
tolerate disrespect for me for from someone that I love just because I guess I tolerate, but yet
You wouldn't
if I
tolerate it in
really
someone else.
yeah, I would be like, I wouldn't tolerate disrespect to someone else though. Like I get very,
Yeah.
very pissed off if I see someone disrespecting like a cashier doing its work. Like
Yeah.
I get very aggravated. So I know like that's in like my core values as well. But I would I've been able to like tolerate disrespect, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing. Like it's I'm not saying it's a good thing,
No.
but I'm working on it. I'm
Yeah. You're
working on
like
it
that.
and
Yeah.
it's life. I think especially us women, I think. I'm not saying as a feminist or whatever, but we just tolerate just a lot of shit. We tolerate a lot of shit. And
Yeah.
we at some point in our life we've been a human carpet
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sometimes in our life. But it's a good time to be alive for to put boundaries and all the good stuff. And
Yeah.
um, I don't I don't think you don't want to change someone's values. You just want them to match. Like I think
Yeah.
that's when it gets in sync and it just
Or to
works
find a
out.
common ground or to find a common like
Yeah.
if you have a very if it depend obviously what the value is like I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example, but like if it was like I don't know, like for example, like obviously you said about loyalty. So let me try and put that into an example. So for example, like I can't even think of an example now.
Because
Okay, no,
it's so cutthroat. It's like use the
yeah.
family example, like the family example that I'm telling you.
Well,
Like,
I mean, so for me, I was thinking of like, okay, so for example, like let's talk about like I don't know, independence or something like that. So like, for example,
okay,
a lot of the times, like for a partner, I feel like a lot of the times, like I use mine and Max's like in a relationship for an example, because a lot of people say our relationship is not strange, but they're like, I don't know how you do it because we spend so much time apart from each other. Like we travel a lot from each other.
yeah,
So that I don't know how you do that. And I think because of that, like, I don't know how this is gonna come out when I say it, but like in terms of our values, both of our values match in terms of like we've got to get something done. So for example, when he travels, it's for work. When I travel, it's also for work. It's both like the both values are the same and we have the same like I would love to travel with you, but I understand that you've got to go do your thing, but I'm not also not going to stop you from doing that thing. And that's a core value for both of us. Like we've both said that from like days dot, like from when we first like got together, started going out, like I remember we went to like my first compete like shows competing and stuff in like 2016. He came to a lot of them and then there was a few he couldn't come to and he was like, fuck, I really want to come. And I was like, you can't come because of work because you've already taken however many days off work. It's absolutely fine. Like I can do this myself. Like it's okay. And like from that day, he respected it. He was absolutely fine with it. He was like, I'm not going to stop you from doing it because you still want to do it. I know you do, but then I also want to be there, but I'm not going to stop you. So like I feel like that value means a lot to me, um, more than anything. And I feel like a lot of people would potentially, be like, I don't want you to go because I've heard it before where people have been like, one partner hasn't been able to go, so they don't go. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like I don't know where I'm going, obviously, with that story or that example,
no,
but I
no,
feel
I
like,
think it's very interesting to see how it applies to your life in
yeah,
general, and I love to hear about you guys' dynamic. I just think it's so beautiful, and I said that to you in the past, and I've seen obviously you by yourself without Max. I've seen you guys together. I've seen you guys, Max without
separate.
you,
Yeah,
and it's so beautiful, and it's very just nice to see.
yeah.
Um, and
And
I
I
think
think
I think
that
you
I would
need to
never
value
change. Oh, you go.
I think you need to value happiness. If you value happiness as a whole and it's like, okay, you see in your partner what makes them happy. Like I'm
Value the bigger picture. Like value the bigger picture as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Value the bigger picture versus being like right sometimes. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like
yes.
couples will argue and fight or whatever, and one of them just they're fighting because one of them wants to be right. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like even a fight that's actually sometimes even valid. They're fighting just because they just want one of them wants the upper hand. So it's like it's almost like what's the point in that? Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of just like making sure that you actually just seeing the bigger picture, like and making sure that regardless of how it ends, you got both going to be happy with this situation and like compromising for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's funny that you say that because you guys have started like a long time ago and you had like your
Mm.
deal breakers and you're like from the get-go, it was clear that this was a value of both of ours and we had those discussions that are like sometimes difficult. I just think now with just all the TikToks of this man
Mm.
should do this, like it's tough for men now, like men should do this and that and now you reflect and you're
Yeah,
like,
the women
wow,
have raised the stakes now. I see the TikToks and I'm like,
these girls are savage, bro. I'm like, how? Like, you need, like, I think that you need, like, it's 50-50, bro. Like, as it's 100-100. I don't care how it is. It's 60-40. Like, we're still both human beings. And I think people forget that. There's no, like, men and women. Like, there's just a dynamic and a sync. And that's why I think
mm,
love is everything. And it's
yeah,
innate. And I think because at the end of the day, it's a partner
shit.
situation.
Yeah.
And
Well, I've
you
had
need
you go. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
no, no, no. I mean, it's just such an interesting subject because, like, that's not where we're going at all. But now that we're
No,
talking about
I
it,
know.
but that's why it's so important to know your values. And we were at like 10, 12 years old, like, we have this assignment at school and be like, what are your values? And
Yeah.
I remember struggling so bad. I'm like, how do I choose five of my values? It's so difficult. But until you don't know
Yeah.
what your values are, you don't know yourself, girly. And like, I can say at 27 years old, I did that homework again in therapy, like
Yeah.
last
Did
week.
you? Oh my God, I
Last week.
love
And
that.
I was like, can I get a list? She had me a list of like the values, and I was,
Stop. Oh my God. That's
girl, it's
so
difficult
funny.
because you're
That's
like
good though.
technically you're like you value everything, right? I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
value it. I value everything. There's like a
Yeah.
range of like how much I value things, but I'm like, no, there's actually like this is for sure because of she's like, listen to what your body tells you when something happens to you. Like, how do you feel when someone you see disrespect or injustice? Like how do you feel? How does it make you? How your body like chemistry reacts to it? Like loyalty. You're like you're cutthroat.
Mm.
Done. So it's like that's the main one, you know? And then family is like how much I want to spend my time and just like I want to invest in the family. I want to start valuing family a lot more, and I've done that uh since me and my mom like got a better like relationship
Mm.
and being like vulnerable and truthful and all these things. So anyways, it's a very good homework to do at home.
I love that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that at the end of the week. I'm
You
gonna be like, right,
should.
what are
You
your
should.
values?
And
Write
then you
this
can have
down.
like a discussion with your partner, and um I think it's a good exercise.
I think
Or
that's a
like
really good one. I like that. And I like what you said about in terms of like, obviously going back to the partnership and it being like, regardless of whoever's like, 60% or someone's 20% or whatever. And do you know what? I actually saw something online that someone said like, and this is an exercise they do. I've never tried it, and it'd be cool to kind of try it and like actually see how it like pans out or whatever. But at the end of the day, I mean, obviously it depends on like if you work, whatever. But they'd say like if they come in at the end of the day and they're really, really tired, they'd state like how much percentage they can give to that person, if that makes sense. So like, for example, if they come back from a shift, like a work shift at like 5 p.m. and the husband's like coming back and they're like, right, I'm like 30% right now. I'm so tired, I'm exhausted. And like, they've both someone else is like, you've got to pick up the slack. So the husband's like, okay, I'll pick up the rest of your 70% and I'll make this 100% work, if that makes sense. And so like, okay, I'll help you this evening. I'll do the laundry or I'll make food or whatever to help you get back to your 100%, if that makes sense. And if it's flips the other way, it's like, okay, husband, I'm not feeling it. I'm like 20% today. I'm exhausted. Okay, cool. Wife, I got you. I'll be the 80% that you need. And I was like, that's actually, I don't know how that would work in like our relationship or how that would work in like our lifestyle, but I really love that. And they said if they were ever like at a time where they both were at like a 20% or they were both like 10% at the same time, they would kind of sit down and figure out how they could both reach that 100%. Like, what do both of you need to do to both get to 100%? Do you know what I mean? And I was like, I kind of like that. They would state kind of how they feel like straight away instead of feeling like, sometimes where you come in and you feel like exhausted, you're tired or something's going on. And then, something happens and you're just like, oh my God, you just get agitated. And because they don't know, because you haven't stated it, for some reason can cause an argument or whatever. So I feel like it's good to actually state like how you actually feel, like, oh, today was really tired, oh, I'm exhausted, or I'm this. You know what I mean? Just actually getting that communication kind of out there. I don't know how we got onto the subject, but
but
it's
we're
kind of
here.
nice. I know.
But we're
We're
here, and
here.
I so agree with you. I think you shouldn't expect your partner to make you happy or anyone
Yeah.
in your life to make you happy, but you should be in a safe place to be vulnerable. And when you're talking about being right or wrong, that's just ego
Mm,
talking. If it's not about being right or wrong, it's just coming together, okay, opening up and being able to lean on each other
mm,
and not thinking and assuming that this is the right thing to do.
yeah.
You know, I can talk all day long on like obviously my dynamic and like my
Mm,
relationship between Aldo and I. It's just been I think a lot of I come from a place where like I can handle shit. Like I can
yeah.
handle everything and he's from a place that he handles everything. But I'm like, if you want that connection with your partner, you need to like open up that and create that safe place of vulnerability. And it doesn't goes like, just tell me like what's wrong. It's like what's
Yeah.
wrong. Like that's not like the place that you like you're able to create that like connection. So
Mm,
you guys, I'm sure you connect when you and Max like go to the pool and like sit down and
yeah.
you'll be able to like open and that's your little moment. Like you can create those moments and be like really okay every Sunday or every Saturday like we go out, we go take a coffee and that's like our sit down talk and just like open up to me. It's
Yeah.
tough for like it's even tough for men's. Like, I mean, um, whatever background you have, like I was about to tell, like, okay, a certain like a certain culture or whatever, but in men in general, like they, especially now, they have like that role of like they need to like provide all the time. They need to just like,
Yeah.
bring bread at home and like have no feelings and just like keep everything together. But they're human beings and they're still going through shit. And I think it's important to acknowledge that we all go
Yeah.
through shit sometimes. And if you have at least one person in your circle that loves you enough, trust me, they want you to lean on them. Like I
Yeah.
want all day. I would want all day that you lean on me because I love you so much and I appreciate your
Mm.
friendship so much. Like I would want that from you and just feel like, hey, you're the person that I can lean on right now. Like right
Yeah.
now, you're the person like we prove that over and over again. Like
Yeah.
I can lean on to you like so many times because you're rock solid. And that's what I tell my friend. I'm like, she's just rock solid. But I don't know how she does it because you still show up as my friend and doesn't nothing anything change, but I can lean on you. And
Yeah.
I love and I appreciate that friendship when like you called me and you were just like you felt like you can lean on me for that. I'm like
Yeah.
I that's the friendship I want. These are the relationship that I want because
Yeah.
it goes to like different depth that like um it's just essential, I think, for
Yeah.
life.
No, I like that. I like that. And I love you. I love your
I
loads.
love you
So thank you for
too so
that.
much.
Thank you for that. And vice versa, 100%. Like I love the type, those types of dynamics and friendships and relationships and are definitely needed within just life in general. I think like you need to find the people, again, it's like finding your circle, like finding your people that you feel comfortable around, vulnerable around, that you can just be yourself and do what you need to kind of like do and, talk to people about how you feel. So let's so that was a very
No,
aggressive
the value.
so.
What was that? The last one. You, if you don't, if you want to change your values, you don't love them.
Yeah,
Hey, Shetty, got us
if
thinking.
I know, if you want to change someone's values, then you don't love them. Yeah, and I mean that got us talking about a whole different load of kettle of fish. Like this was supposed to be like positive quotes and reading each people's things and this that, the other. That was a positive quote though, to be fair, and I did
No,
like that.
it is, and we're all positive over there. It's all for the better.
Yeah, it just made me laugh. I was like, damn, like Jay said, he really just opened us wide up. Like we just started talking about a load of stuff there. Okay, so, and then we've got some of the people's quotes that they've kind of said. We kind of said like, what were your favorite quotes? And then someone's put, you are the director of your own life, which I do love. I like that. And
Hmm.
it gives you just like assertiveness to actually like, because sometimes you just realize like I can actually do what I want. Like you can actually do whatever you want in the world. You could do literally anything. Like you could go to college and become a doctor if you wanted to. Like it's knowledge. You could try and do it. You could prep if you wanted to and do a show. Like you could do anything. And it's pretty crazy that you actually like when you actually think about it, you could do anything.
Hmm.
And you sometimes forget. So
Yeah.
get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Everyone says that. I like that quote because it's
Me
very, very
too.
true. Very, very true. The grass is greener where you water it.
100%.
100%. Instead of the
Yes.
grass is greener on the other side. What is that original quote anyway? The grass is always greener.
The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yes,
Like,
that's the one. The grass isn't
yeah,
greener,
yeah.
isn't always greener on the
Um,
other side.
it's funny because there's another quote that comes to my mind, and it's I'm sure you saw it. It's when a flower doesn't grow or doesn't bloom, do you blame the flower or you blame the environment?
Environment. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I think I've seen that before. That's a very, very good analogy because it's like you don't blame the actual flower, like the sold flower. You blame the soil, you blame the sun, you blame the whatever like around it. It's not like the actual flower's fault that it's didn't do what it needed to do.
I
Um
think it's just a whole. It's just to make you see, like, listen, it's not only you, it's
mm,
you and like who you have around. It's the circumstances, it's the timing, it's all these things. It's just not to always be so self-destructive. I
destruct
think, or like,
self-sabotaging as well
yeah,
and
so
it's
real.
my fault, it's my fault, like it is everything as well, but it's also your kind of chance to change that as well. I definitely
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. This too shall pass. I like that
Yeah, I like
because
that.
it's so simple. It's very true because I feel like sometimes in some situations where, I mean, we were speaking about this, I think, last week, where there's so many situations where we feel like it's never going to end ever. And it
Yeah.
does, and it will pass, and it feels like for fucking ever, but it will. Um,
Yeah,
and I
there's a
love that.
light
It's
at
so
the end of the
simple.
tunnel and it's
Mm,
there and yeah, I know.
yeah, I
It's
know.
too short fast.
Um, sacrifice, sacrifice what you want now for what you want most.
Okay.
Sacrifice what you want now for what you want most. Ooh,
Yeah, yeah. Like it
sacrifice what you want for what you want most. I kind of
so it's
like,
it's it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with just like the idea of the woman that you want to be, which is
yeah,
like qualities and characteristic. Like let's say for both of us, the Olympia, what we
yeah,
would want right now in a setting per se would
yes, yeah,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah,
a burger. But what
yeah.
we want
Or like
the
what?
most
Yeah,
is to win, you know? So
yeah. I like that
we
actually. That took me a while to kind of like click for some reason, but I kind of like, I don't know how I was reading it. Like sacrifice. I think I read kind of like the sacrifice part at the beginning, like sacrifice now for what you want most. I don't know why. I don't know how I read that in a different. I read that in a different context in my brain for some reason, but I do
I
like that. I like that a
okay,
lot.
I love that too, like seeing like how we read things, like it can be so different. It's so crazy
Yeah, I
how
read
to
that in
read it.
a. I don't know why I read that as a negative when I heard the word sacrifice. I like read that in a negative kind of.
Oh, I get
Does
it.
that
Yeah, it
make
was
sense? I
like
don't know why. I was like,
sacrifice
yeah,
now.
yeah. I was like sacrifice now. I was like, oh, okay, aggressive, like damn. But like I, but I
She
get
chose
it, and
violence.
yeah, I was like, oh, but that actually makes a lot of sense. Now I've kind of like read it, and you've like we've kind of used it as an analogy. That makes sense, and I do like that a lot. To be fair, that's a nice one. Um, she believed she could, so she did. Oh, that's cute. And then she's put like little caterpillar, and then like butterflies and stuff like that, as in like blooming and like growing.
Aw.
She believed she could, so she did, which I do like. I like that a lot. That's cute. Um, be the person. Oh, be the person you needed when you were younger. I like
The,
that.
the good old inner child analogy.
I know.
Love it.
That always
I,
pulls on my heartstrings. I'm like, I always talk to myself as in like, younger Phoebe would be proud. Like, as in like, what, like, you know, sometimes when you feel like, I feel like sometimes when I'm not proud of myself, I kind of like look back in terms of like, what would younger Phoebe think to kind of like feel actually make myself kind of see what I've done, if that makes sense. Because sometimes again, I'm the person that's like the worst critic of myself. I feel like we're all kind of like that in a way, but I'll, you know, really not see what I've done or really like underplay what I've kind of done or something like that. And I'd be like, younger Phoebe would just be so proud of you. And then I'm like, yeah, she would. And that type of thing. I don't know. Like I kind of like put that kind of that little setting in my head to make myself see what I've kind of done in a way, if that makes sense.
that's so sweet because it doesn't work for me at all. But I'm glad it works for you.
Really?
I've tried like in so I got in my therapy session my I got hypnotherapy sessions too. And when you yeah, when
I've
you
wanted to do that before. How'd you find it?
so she was doing it she's amazing. She's like a like it was a couple like counselor like therapist
Mm.
like she like do a bunch of stuff. Like she's very like she does breathing therapy, like a lot of shit. And she was like, "Do you want to do a therapy? Like, I think hypnotherapy would be really good for you because we're trying to figure out like my core belief and all these things."
Mm.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Like, I went back to like a 4 years old moment. It was just so weird. And then after that, you're doing like all this, like when you're kind of like coming back up, you kind of like carry us like that inner child and you're like holding, like a
Oh
pillow
my
or
God, that's
something.
so weird.
And you're holding a pillow and you're just like kind of like telling your little girl that you love her and like that you're there for her and like whatever, you're worthy, like all these like mantras that I came up with for myself, like, you're worthy,
Mm.
you're this, you're that. Like, you would tell that to that little girl, like,
Oh
and
my
and
God. Because I've heard
yeah,
about this before, like a lot, like the way that people, like when they get hypnotherapy and like kind of like are looking into like their like past and like you said, core values and all that sort of thing, you speak to your younger self in a way. And I've
yeah,
always wanted to get it done because like, I don't know, it seems like such an interesting experience. It
yeah.
sounded like
It,
an
you
interesting
know, I've
experience.
I've done it 3 times. 2 times worked really well.
Mm,
There was a time, like, you're just not predisposed to have the
yeah.
hypnotherapy. I think you need to be in a certain state of mind, and the two, like, were very just like moment that I completely forgot about it. But then
Yeah.
there are moments, and then you analyze those moments, and you're like, what was that little girl telling herself? And you're like,
Mm,
holy shit.
yeah.
It's insane. So now you're aware of who you are at your core, because sometimes you like why am I in this situation? Like, why the fuck am I in that situation? Why in like why am I making those, like, how am I
Yeah.
deserving of this? Like, you don't understand. It's karma. It's like you're lost. You just want to understand. Now you're aware of, okay, my core belief is this is this. My self-image that I tell myself is this and this. Now that I'm aware of this, whatever suits, sooth, sooth,
Soothes you.
sooth, that core belief,
Yeah.
wrong. Like, you don't. So it's tough, because it's like, okay, I feel unworthy, so I would do a lot of things that make me feel unworthy because that's my comfort.
Yes.
Insane.
That's a lot of people's comfort though. Like when you don't feel great, you do things that don't make you feel great, like sit on the sofa. Like for me, I sit on the sofa and I'll watch TV when I know that's not going to make me feel any better. Instead, I could go down, go to the gym or train or go for a walk or something, but I'll make myself feel worse for no reason because it's comfort, and that's so not quote unquote normal to do,
Yeah.
because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
But
I think if a lot of people were able to, like, go deep like that, I'm gonna say it, not because I'm a doctor or, like, qualified to say what I'm gonna say, but I think there would be a lot of, like, depression issue,
mm,
um, or even anxiety just done,
yeah,
because you would understand. And once you
understand what?
understand, you're aware, and your outlook on life and your past changes, and then you get excited because you're like, okay, now that I'm 27, I realize that I have at least 50 more years, hopefully 50
Yeah,
more years of living exactly how I intend to be, creating a life that will make me feel worthy, that would, like, value me, like that. I'm gonna feel valued every single day of my life if I want to, and I think that's the most beautiful gift you can give to yourself.
yeah. God, this episode is so deep. This has gotten so deep so quick.
I'm about to drown over
I know
here.
I'm about to like burst into tears or some shit. Like I'm gonna read one of these quotes and I'm gonna start crying. Okay, I'll read a few more and then we'll be done because we're already an hour in. But old ways won't open new doors.
Won't.
Won't.
Yeah.
So old ways won't open old doors.
Your accent, I love it. True.
Your
Won't.
accent sometimes gets me as well. I'm like, what? Won't. How does an American say it? Won't.
Won't. It won't.
Won't.
It won't, girl. It won't.
Won't. I'm like, I have emphasis on that O. Won't. Um, Let me do one more. Oh, someone said this too shall pass as well. Two people said that. Everything happens for a reason, which I like
Indeed.
that. No problems, only solutions. Best part
That's
of
positive.
moving forward is things get better as well, which is good. Best part about moving forward is things get better.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, you said that so oh, hopefully, yes, very much hopefully, 100%, very much hopefully. Okay, last one. If you kind of sort of try, you will kind of sort of get results.
True.
Very, very true.
True.
100% true. So, because I feel like there's so many people out there again that they'll want the world. They'll ask for the world. They so want everything, but they'll do like 40%. They'll give
Yeah.
40% to actually get what they want, and they still expect that result. So it's like, no, no, no,
No.
no. But
Try more. Do
try
more.
more. Do more. Just do. Don't think, just do. Like we were talking about
That's
last
right.
week. But thank you so much for listening to this episode. This got very deep very quick.
That's
Damn.
what we do.
We were talking about relationships, values, core feelings, like inner child. I don't even know what we're going to name this episode.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I don't
Oh
even
my
know what we're going
God.
to end this
I
episode.
need to go back to bed.
I
This is like
know.
I'm done for the
I need to
day.
go to I need to go to bed. You need to go back to bed. I need to go to bed. Like, my God. But we love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make
Love
sure you
y'all.
subscribe, like, comment, all those fun things. And we'll be giving you an episode every week. So we love you so
Yeah.
much. And
Okay, bye.
yes, we love you loads. See you soon.
Signing out. Bye,
Bye.
babe.